Okay, let's talk about first grade daily routines. Now, if you're a 2013 or 2015 user of math expressions, then these are going to look different because what we used to do in kindergarten, first, and second grade is we added a new number every day and counted to that number. In first grade, we would add 2 or 3 numbers every single day. We've really upped the rigor now in the 2018 and the 2026 copyright in terms of making sure that students have higher level counting skills, that they are really working on their place value and in their number sense. So even if you are not in an updated copyright of math expressions, we highly recommend that you use these new updated daily routines, and you can use the slides if you want to. I'm going to model how we would use this using the slides that I've made for you. However, you can definitely and highly are encouraged to use your real math expressions materials. Use your real 120 chart. Use your real secret code cards. This is completely up to you. We just found that during the COVID days that a lot of our teachers needed to make the routines more visual. So the slides were made really with that intention in mind, is that we needed a way to do them digitally. But even when we came back to the classroom, we found that really students could access the information and see the numbers better and bigger when we used our slide deck. It's up to you. You choose. You might even do a blended approach. Use some of the real materials, use some of the slide materials. I'm going to leave that up to you. So as we begin, we're going to talk about what today's number is. So every day we have a new number from 80 to 100. We're reminding students how to count in those upper numbers, those upper decades that we did have an opportunity to count to in kindergarten, but we're using this information in Unit 1 to kind of revise and refresh before we start counting beyond that 100 number. So for example, you can say that today's number is 82. So I would say, class, what is today's number? And the whole class would say 82. And the student leader would say, count by tens and ones and finger flash with me. The student leader would have a pointer, physical or digital, and would say, boys and girls, count with me. And the students would say 1, 2, 3, 4, so on and so forth until they got to 10. And when they got to 10, we would clap. Every time we get to a 10, we clap. Now, we can also just finger flash to 82. So we're going to now count by tens and ones. So if you choose to count by ones up to 82, it's because you're not sure your kids have that skill. So in first grade, sometimes we spend the first few days of the daily routines counting up by ones to that number. But ideally, in this routine, you actually count by tens and ones. So in that case, the student leader would say 10, 20. Now notice that they're tracking the number. So we're saying 10, finger flashing 10 on our left, and then finger flashing our ones on our right. So it's kinesthetic place value, 10, 20, 30. Simultaneously, the student leader is tracking, so they go down the entire row of numbers or column of numbers till they get to 20. When students are saying 20, the student leader is pointing to the number 20. So we get all the way until we get to 80, and then the students freeze and we count up by ones. 81, 82. So the entire class, in my opinion, should be standing because finger flashing works better that way. It's good kinesthetic crossing the midline, tens and ones, but then they should be able to visually see that chart, and every number they're saying, they're tracking on that chart. So what I see and what I say, what I move are all the same number. So we're not arbitrarily just counting. We're looking to say, yeah, then when I say 80, that's the number I'm thinking of. That's the number I'm flashing. So we're going to count by tens and ones. Finger flash with me. We get to 82. The student leader would say, boys and girls, what was today's number? And the students would say 82. And so now we can see that over here, we have 82 dots up and before the red line. Let's count the tens together. 110, 2 10s. And again, the student leaders can be counting like this: 110, 210, or 110, 2 10s. Okay, we're counting in 10 language, which is what a first grade standard entails. Is it talks about putting groups of 10 into a unit now. So now we're talking about units of 10. So 110, 210, 3 10s, 4 10s, so on and so forth. 8 10s. Let's count by ones. 1, 2 ones. How many tens and how many ones? 8 10s and 2 ones is 82. Boys and girls, say the equation with me. We know that 80 is 8 10s and 2 ones is 2. 80 and 2 is 82. 8 tens and 2 ones is 82. So we're using the tens and the ones language. So the student leader say, let's count the tens together. Let's count the ones together. How many tens and how many ones? Class, what's my equation? Now, I'm going to go to the next slide, which includes our secret code cards. So you have your secret code cards on the screen, and students now are going to build it, or the student leader would build with secret code cards. So we'd say, class, what is today's number? And the class would say 82. The student leader would write the number 82, or you could have it pre-filled. And then we're going to say, class, let's build the number. So the student leader would grab the 80 card. They would grab the 2 card. Let's see if I can scroll over. And then they would say, let's say it together. 80 and 2 is 82. 82 is 80 plus 2. That's how we're making it. Now, I want you to notice that you can do it, of course, then with your actual secret code cards and not use the slide. I like these cards. 80 and 2 is 82. 82 is 80 plus 2. So you can see that every day you're going to continue that. You can go over norms. What are the norms of the job of the class? What are the job of the student leader? Who is our student leader today? And the student leader then would lead them through. Now, as I keep going, you'll see that there's a new number every single day. And so each day you'd use the new chart with the new number. You'd count up to that number in tens and ones, and you continue all the way through you get to lesson 11. The rigor of this routine is going to jump as we get into unit 2. So do this religiously for those 11 days so that you can get students, again, fluent with their numbers up to 100.